Good afternoon and welcome back, everybody. We continue to have amazing conversations. We talk about a part of our sector which takes us way beyond our own shores. We talk about mines in Africa. We talk with crazy people like geologists. And then we also hear how, and regardless of what we think, in the end, what the country does is important and relevant, and what China and America and India do is also impacting on our commodity prices. So it's a really interesting place to be, mining, and especially junior mining. Our next panel is a pleasure because I hand over to James Campbell, and he does it better than what I can ever do it. And that is about financing and funding. Now, I don't know if you should put a diamond miner in charge of financing and funding, because I think it's just smuggling in their case, but who knows? I don't know diamond mining. So with that, James, tell us how to smuggle if that's what it takes. How do we get funding? Over to you and your panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Bernard, and it's wonderful for a diamond person to be represented at the Junior Indaba. I see that there is one other of my colleagues, Dr. John Ward, talking on the macroland. So our session is got focused on two kind of areas. The first area is how do local and international investors and funders view the risks and challenges of junior mining. But what is of obviously particular topical flavour this year is what has changed post-COVID-19. And I'm delighted to be joined by three very, very esteemed lady and gentlemen. Ms. Mamecha Mosh, the founder and CEO of Mosh Capital. Mr. Sean Brown, Executive Director of Acrux Resources. And Mr. Boris Kamstra, a Director of Pangea. But before I get the panel session going, I'd just like to kind of share a few thoughts. Most of these were encapsulated during the discussion yesterday, but maybe kind of to tee up the discussion and to contextualize it, is that it was very clear from the remarks made by the Honourable Minister of Mines of South Africa, from the CEO of the Botswana Chamber of Mines, and many other people, that juniors and exploration are particularly important to drive the next phase of mineral growth in Southern Africa. However, impediments remain, and I'd just like to very, very briefly touch on four of them, and three of them, unsurprisingly, financial. The first one is the need to change the financial system to make it easier for retail investors to invest in juniors. Secondly, to provide financial incentives, for example, the flow-through share scheme that Canada has. And we all know that Section 12J, the scheme in South Africa, hasn't worked, and I don't think has funded one single exploration or junior mining venture. Thirdly, and perhaps a little controversial, relax royalties. Botswana has a 10% royalty on diamonds, and if you're going to be mining a small marginal deposit, for example, which has a 20% profit to revenue ratio, half of that profit goes straight out to the fiscus, and that essentially will kill smaller projects in this country. So those are the three major ones, and then of course the fourth one, about having a transparent and functioning licensing system supported by sound geological information, and then regular filings by those firms working on the prospecting license. So as that as a kind of a tee up, and before I ask the Boris, which I'd like to kind of tee up the panel with, about do you believe there are good opportunities in COVID-19 times, I'd just like to share one very brief example from my own company, Botswana Diamonds, where we have recently acquired Sekaka Diamonds in Botswana, which was Petra Diamonds' exploration arm. We first looked at this 3 years ago, and we liked the asset, but sadly it was a too expensive deal. But during the course of this lockdown, we were able to initiate and conclude a much, much more affordable deal. So in terms of one of the kind of panel questions is, are there opportunities available out there, particularly in COVID-19 times? From a diamond perspective, I have to answer very clearly, yes.